When you target someone by attaching their name to your joke, that's okay.
Yeah, but I'm not inciting people. You are inciting people.
You're normalising.
Every single person I've spoken to about the things that you have said about me don't understand any of it. And if I just sit there and interrogate these people who are alleging things about me, I can just sit there and explain to them the context, and they go, well, that's not very important, is it?
You're normalising this kind of language.
I'm normalising comedy because at this point comedy is under attack in this country. I'm being investigated for a joke. I can name other comedians who are being investigated for jokes. We have gone down a very dark path. As Orwell says, printed on the front of this building, if liberty is to mean anything at all, it must mean the right to tell people that which they don't want to hear. Do you stand by that or not? This is the BBC. Does the BBC stand by that or not?
Here are some comments from your social media.
What a waste of time.
And I started thinking, it feels like all this woke ideology that people push in our face, they don't really care about the ideology, but it does give them the power to tell you to not do something. I'm doing this for them. Shut up.
Okay, I don't think the trans movement is about safeguarding people's ability to express their gender. I think it was brought forth as a social issue for politicians to get behind, and now it's used as a wedge issue to weed out ideologically non-compliant people. To that end, I think it deliberately empowers the most emotional and dogmatic people, like those going after J.K. Rowling and Dave Chappelle. I mean, we all know there's a distinction to be had, but many of us pretend like there's not because we've been told that there's not, and that the right thing to say is that there's no distinction. It reminds me of Orwell's 1984, where he's being tortured and repeatedly asked how many fingers are being held up, and ultimately the right answer is whatever the state says there is. Many accept these terms because it's the path of least resistance set forth by the people who own and run the megaphones, who dictate what does and does not make a good person, as well as a loyal army of shock troops who will effectively come after you and your reputation both off and on Twitter if you step out of line. The solution always seems to be to control language and grant the ruling class more control.
Let me know if you agree, but before we keep going, remember to like, share, hit the bell notification, and here's more.
What a brilliant idea! What do you mean just stop oil? All your stuff is made out of oil, you idiots! Your clothes, these jackets, they're all made out of oil! What the hell are you doing here, making a nuisance of yourselves? It's a joke! Get out the road! You're wasting everybody's time and petrol! All these guys, their engines are running all the time, wasting more bloody oil, you nutters. What is this made out of? What are your clothes made out of? How did your clothes get here? They got here by oil. What are you doing? This makes no sense at all, just stop oil. You haven't thought about this. If you want to stop oil, you need to stay at home and go and live in the forest.
One of the most interesting aspects about these people protesting for climate change against the oil, surprisingly, most of them don't even have a job.
Oh, I don't think I have the strength.
So for me, it seems like just an attention grab to have something to do and feel a little purpose and guidance in life by destroying others.
You say, hey, we have black students at a particular school who aren't performing at that school as well. The immediate assumption that you're making is, well, maybe it's because they're not smart enough, they're not good enough, or they don't belong here. Whereas it could be about the experience that they're having at that institution. Professors who believe that they're not intelligent enough, that they don't have the capability to do the work, that they see them as criminals, deviants, dangerous, up to no good, or they talk about them with the they statements. They're lazy, they don't care, they don't really belong here. They're only here for the financial aid.
I'm giving you actual facts.
No,
right?
I'm giving you actual facts based upon extensive
say, well, maybe they just don't feel good, but that's not the case. I mean, I went to university. I did not feel good, right? I didn't pull the best grades in high school, probably got into a better university than I should have gotten into based on my performance in high school. It wasn't because of my feelings. It's because I wasn't focused on it. And that, we're talking about a cultural problem, what's going on back at home, as was in my circumstance. And none of that is because of institutionalized policy. It almost seems like you guys refuse to accept that, you know, black students aren't performing well. You feel like you have to have this burden of responsibility when, in fact, if you actually wanted to help, you would look at the facts, re-examine the fact that it's not helping anybody, it's not helping black Americans to artificially place them into universities, and you'd make effective change.
Unfortunately, yes.
But you're making the assumption that black students are academically inferior, and they're not.
No,
they're
you
some
are
of our
actually,
most brilliant students
that's
that we
the
have.
basic, no. That you are making the assumption that they are inferior.
You just said that they don't belong there.
Policies. I'm talking about the students that are based on the policies that you are defending right now, saying that we should have these policies that let them into these universities, not based on their skill set, but based on the color of their skin. So you are assuming that they are inferior.
Sounds like a cool guy.
You are blaming the school that they are dumb. Think about it. Who's saying that? Not me. You.
Can you change your ethnicity? Is it possible?
No.
But you can change your gender? Yes.
Do you think you can change your gender?
Physically, yeah.
Of course you can change your gender.
If you can change your gender, can you change your race?
No.
Why?
Because that's just how you're born.
Isn't your gender how you're also just born?
Yeah, I see where you're getting with, but right now we do have surgeries available to change gender. We don't have that for race yet. So maybe in the future that could be something.
No, you can't change your race. I feel like one is actually a stagnant part of identity and the other one like is serious, but it's in a different form. It's not the same concept. Race is your roots, where you were born with from, you know, ages ago. So I think
Isn't your gender what you're born with too?
that's true, but I think it's a different, like...
Gotcha. If you can identify with a different gender, why can't you identify with a different race?
The biological side of it, because race has no biological connections whatsoever. It's purely based off of physical appearances.
I just asked you if it was biological. You said yes.
Is recognized off of skin color. If you weren't that skin color your whole life.
Right, because it's biological.
Or I mean, sex has biological backings, but gender is not. Gender is a spectrum.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
These people are going to college. Okay, think about it. They're contradicting themselves and they still have to say the right answer. It's like the program. George Orwell said, how many fingers that you see? 4? You better say 4.
A woman.
What is it? That's a stupid question, dude. That's a dumb question.
What is a woman? It's not a trick question.
Identifies as a woman.
You can't answer the question with the question. Yeah, define the woman without saying woman.
It's a social
The college kids of America going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question when you ask them what a woman is.
What is a woman?
Oh. A woman is somebody who presents as our social conception of womanhood.
So
you acts in such a way.
So Pixie, just can you answer that question without using the word woman or womanhood?
It's because basically it would be a functional definition. So as a society, we have an understanding of what woman is.
What is that?
Man. Yeah, that's basically.
I am a man.
Well then.
Can you elaborate? XY chromosomes.
Okay, but the problem with that is that I didn't check your chromosomes before coming in here and calling you a man, and you didn't check my chromosomes before coming in here.
Or genitals.
Or genitals, calling me a woman.
So let me just play this out. So first of all, you can't give me a definition without using the word woman.
That's a functional definition. Yeah, sure. Do you know what functional definitions are?
I'm very well aware, and you should have a functional definition for the most important question in civilization, right? Can you give me an objective, a functional, utilitarian, any sort of biological definition of what a woman is?
It's a person who performs a set of social roles that are typically associated with feminine characteristics, but not necessarily, because there are even cis women who fall outside of this, and we still consider them women nonetheless.
Do you think anyone can become a woman?
Yep, but not anyone will.
Okay, so then at what point do they become a woman?
It will depend on where they are in their gender transition for the most part.
Does it require drugs to become a woman?
No.
Personally, I think it's a mindset. It's a spiritual energy. It's the vibe that you give off. You know, like
the vibe.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is a woman?
Can you skip me?
We'll come back to her.
I am a woman.
That's the best answer.
I'm a woman.
What is a woman?
Like, I don't.
A woman is someone who identifies as a woman. What constitutes as a woman is the energy that you give off and that you want to put out into the world.
So if being a woman or a female is a mindset, can your age also be a mindset? Can you just say, I feel 14, which is a classifiable mental condition, by the way?
Yes, I know people that act way younger than they actually are, and they love acting way younger than they actually are. And I know people that, you know, like act way older than they are, and they, you know, and they pride themselves in that.
But if your identity is an energy or a feeling that can change, why would it be wrong for a 35-year-old to say he's 14? Therefore,
because he's not.
But then how is someone who has male parts a woman if he's not a woman?
That's two different things.
Why? It's a mindset, isn't it?
Time.
Your age isn't a mindset.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then why is your sex or your gender a mindset and your age isn't?
Gotcha.
We were tipped off that this female volleyball game that we witnessed earlier featured not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 men pretending to be females. 3 were on Seneca, 2 were on Centennial. Gee, can you imagine which side won? Not only that, the male players were always on the court. So you had biological female substitutes just sitting on the bench for the entire game. Here's another egregious thing about allowing biological men to compete on the female varsity team. Some of these women are getting scholarships in which to play volleyball, i.e. they are using this sport to pay for their tuition.
All I have to say is this. It's 3 trends against 2 trends. I wonder which side have won. Of course, the one with more trends. So I think it's kind of unfair. If you did 2 against 2, I think it's a fair match. But you don't care about the fair match. You just want to push the message as if this is the new normal, and whoever loses because one has more trans women, it is what it is. Especially when you got a bunch of women training for everything, sitting on the bench, losing scholarship, and you want me just to enjoy it? I don't think that's fair. But hey, let me know in the comment section, like and the usual. Peace.
Don't get me wrong, ako sa kita bong. Puta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, turlo, queta, verdeta, welcome.